And good day to you all. Today it's supposed to rain around 2 o'clock, unfortunately, so we were gonna come and get some more work done today, but we kind of decided, well, we wanted to do some fiberglassing on the outside, maybe finish up floor in the back, which is just kind of exposed to the outside, so rather than having to take the tarp off and whatever, Reagan stayed home, Nick and Caroline are relaxing. We're giving them the day off. But I said, hey, there's other stuff to do on the bus. I had to come up here this morning to help out with something anyways. So I said, you know what? I'll do an oil change on the bus. It needs an oil change. We haven't changed the oil since we got it, and we needed to do it anyways. So again, this is one of those times, we've talked about it in a previous video, where I said, you know what? There's so much stuff you gotta do on your bus. If you start getting frustrated with something, you start losing motivation, switch to something else, do something else. There's a lot of maintenance that I want to do on the bus, and this oil change is a very easy first one of them. So hopefully it shouldn't take too long. I mean, oil change is pretty simple, but yeah, I'm gonna eat some lunch here first, and then we'll go check out the new floor and get to changing the oil. All right guys, got some lunch in me. I'm ready to get working, but first, I think I gotta change these clothes. Oh, that's better. Now we're ready to work. Also, go Pack Go. Lived in Wisconsin my whole life. I'm a cheesehead. Come on. If you like Packers, throw Go Pack Go down in the comments. I'm gonna get the bus started up. Good idea if you're gonna do an oil change. Get the engine warmed up. Warms up the oil a little bit and it will flow a little bit quicker. So all in all, the draining process is a little bit faster. So I'm gonna start it up, and then I think I'm actually gonna possibly move it partway into the building. So if it does start to rain for whatever reason, I'm at least covered. So let's start her up. Hear this baby roar. All right guys, it's oil change time. So this is something some of you may feel like is a daunting task or something you don't want to take on your own, but in reality, it's super simple and you can save yourself a lot of money doing it. I know oil changes going to a service place or dealers, I think can be a couple $100s. I just went and bought the oil by myself, so we're rolling with some Shell Rotella 15W40. And we've got 5 gallons of that. It should take about, I think, 4.5 gallons, anywhere from 16 to 20 quarts is what kind of the internet says. And then we've got our big old oil filter. I went with the premium filter. Not sure it makes a difference really, but hey, whatever, I went with it. Figured nothing but the best for old miles here. And then I also got 2 13-quart shallow drain pans. So there's not a ton of ground clearance underneath here to be able to get a 5-gallon bucket. That's what a lot of people will use because it fits all 18 or 16 to 20 quarts. So I've got 2 13-quart drain pans. That way I don't have to fill them to the total brim before I swap to the next one. And these will be something you can just reuse and probably keep in the bus in the future for future oil changes while we're on the road or anything else we may need them for. So some other things that are helpful. I've got an oil filter wrench. So this is one version of an oil filter wrench. And there's another version that basically is just like a round, flat piece of metal. Just uses the constricting force to help undo the oil filter. And then another thing I have is a Phillips head screwdriver, and that's gonna be to puncture the bottom of the filter and let a lot of the oil drain out. I don't have like a pick, like an ice pick to be able to stab in there, but Phillips head screwdriver should do. So a disclaimer, I am no mechanic by any means, but this is an oil change. I do work on my car. I do oil changes in my car, Reagan's car, and we do it for the purpose of saving money there too. You know, it's something that's really quick, really easy to do. Even though this is a diesel engine, and there's really only one step that's different, and that's filling the oil filter. The steps of an oil change are actually really simple. So basically, you pull your drain plug, let all that drain out, pull your filter, let all that drain out, replace your filter, and then once you're done draining, replace your drain plug, fill it up. Literally as easy as that, folks. And so, again, it's not something you should be intimidated by, and something be willing to try it and save yourself a couple dollars. Obviously, the luxury of being able to pay somebody else to do it is really nice, but I feel like a lot of people, when they're living out of school, are looking for ways to save money. So, very easy way to save money. Let's get working here. See how difficult this oil change is compared to a normal car. Yeah, we'll kind of walk you through it. So, let's see how it goes. Oh, wow. So, step one, gotta figure out what size socket you're gonna need to be able to undo this drain plug. Thankfully, first guess, got it right. On our Skoolie, we've got a T444E engine. This is a 3/4 inch socket. As with many things on your Skoolie, gloves are always a nice thing to have. Helps you from getting dirty. Let's see how hard this is to undo. Oh, way too easy. Okay, folks. So here's where you gotta really just feel her out. It helps if you maintain upward pressure, so that way when the bolt's about to come out or it's already all the way loose. Here we go. Feel like it's loose. There we go. Pretty clean. Pretty clean transition there. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this because obviously it's going pretty fast here. And I want to be able to slide in my other pan. Slide in here pretty close. A little bit of oil to clean up. Not too bad though for the first time. So of course the camera died on me as we were draining. I don't know at what point, but just letting it drain a little bit more here. I'm gonna have to slowly shimmy these guys out because this guy is full. Okay, so we're gonna let that drain a little bit longer, just let it trickle out, and then we're gonna go head over to the filter and take care of that guy and get that drained out as well. Hopefully it should fit in this pan. Okay. Alright, so next we're gonna tackle the oil filter here. So this big old guy is filled with oil. So what a lot of people suggest doing is taking something and just puncturing a hole in the bottom here, because otherwise this is a big heavy thing full of oil. It can just be hard to get out and whatnot. So it's kind of awkward, but I'm gonna try and use a flathead screwdriver. Not drop it in my oil tub here. I suppose I could make one off center here. It just may shoot a little farther. That might be easiest because, yeah, I think I'm gonna come from the outside and make a mark out here because I can come from the top rather than working from down below. I wish you guys could see the position I'm in right now. Alright, there we go. There we go. Now we'll let that drain a little bit and then come back, put the new filter on. Okay, so while we're letting that filter drain out a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and prep the new filter. So one thing that's different about doing a Skoolie oil change versus say your normal car, or at least how I do it, is typically I just take a little bit of oil and oil up where the threads are here and maybe put a little bit of oil into the filter for a car. But for a Skoolie, what you're actually gonna wanna do for a big diesel motor is put some oil in the filter and fill it up. So this, because this is such a big filter, it's basically you're priming it. So otherwise, when you put new oil in and fire the engine up, then this has to fill with oil before it's gonna start continuing to circulate. So if you already fill it with oil, basically prime the system, then it's already got oil in here that it can start circulating into the system and in the motor when you start the bus up. So something a little bit different that varies. It's really the only different part from a car oil change. Let's go ahead and fill her up. Hey, let's get this old filter off. I already tried to undo this guy and it was already a little loose. So there will be a little bit of oil left in here that we got to be aware of. Again, I'm just going to keep upward pressure, maybe use a second hand. All right, so I want to make sure this is nice and cleaned off before we put the new guy on. And also make sure that the O-ring gasket hasn't been left behind from the previous filter. So there's a gasket at the top of the filter that matches up with this that can get left behind. So here I've got my new filter. Gonna go ahead, and it's nice and full of oil. We've lubricated that top gasket, and we're gonna go ahead and just start threading it on. There we go. Thread, thread, thread. So get it hand tight. Pretty darn snug there. So get it hand tight, and then we'll go ahead and take our wrench. So we'll go ahead and take our filter wrench and just give it one little extra bit of turn here. It says about 3/4 of a turn. I'm gonna try and do. It seems pretty darn snug there. So, all right, filter's in. Now we just got to put oil back in the top, and then we're good. Okay, so took the drain plug out, let the oil drain out the bottom. Poked a hole in the bottom of the filter, let that drain out. Took the old filter out. Put new oil in the new filter before we put the new filter in, and lubricated the top O-ring. And now we just got to put new oil in the top. So you're going to want a really long funnel. For our T444E, the engine oil fill is right here on the top, but it's kind of tucked down in some stuff. So a nice tall funnel is really going to help you be able to hopefully not make a mess. So we'll put probably 16 quarts in, turn the bus on, let it run a little bit, and then maybe put a few, check the oil with the dipstick, and then maybe put a few more quarts in or a little bit more in as needed. I'll just keep kind of going back and forth with the dipstick until we get it to the right level. So excited to get this oil and then hopefully get things rolling fresh here. So I bought two 2.5 gallon jugs. So obviously 4 quarts to a gallon. We're getting 16 quarts. Gonna put in about 4 gallons. So 2.5 down. Let's get another 1.5 in. All right, got about 16 quarts in, maybe a little bit more, but that's okay. Gonna fire it up, let it run for a minute, let some oil get circulating in the system, shut it off, shut the dipstick, and keep going from there. Another thing to note, when you check your oil, you always want to do it on flat ground. Obviously, if the bus is tilted forward or back, that can affect your reading of where the oil is sitting in the engine when it's sitting there turned off. So I'm not perfectly flat right now, so I'm gonna pull it out in the parking lot and check it out there so it's a little bit flatter, a little bit more accurate, hopefully. All right, guys, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and check our oil. What you're gonna wanna make sure you got is a rag of some sort. Again, this is a T444E. This is a T444E. And our dipstick is right here on the passenger entrance side. To be honest, it took me forever to find this dipstick because it was hidden behind all these lines, and I looked for so long when we first got the bus to find the dipstick to check the dang oil, and then I found it hidden back here. So pull your dipstick, give it a wipe, because you got to make sure, start with a clean slate, stick it back in. Make sure you're all the way down. I let it just sit for a hot second. I'll go ahead and pull it out. Looks like we still gotta add some. Yep, we're about halfway between the add and full, so I'm gonna keep adding and try to beat this rain that's coming. All right, now I'll run it for a second again and then we'll check it again and see if we're good. All right, we are right at the full line. Maybe you can see that. So we're set. Oil change complete. Third dipstick back in and your oil change is done. Okay guys, and that's it. Oil change on the Skoolie is complete. Again, this is something super simple you can do on your Skoolie. Your engine oil and changing your oil frequently is so important to both your car and your Skoolie or your bus, especially in these guys, because like in this motor, for example, the oil is used to also lubricate the injectors and things like that. So a lot of systems are supported by the oil, and the oil staying the correct consistency, the right amount of oil being in there, and the oil being fresh. So I think recommended is about every 10,000 miles. So that's probably what we'll be doing here with Miles. Obviously he's gonna be sitting here for a while, but it's a good feeling to know every time we start him up, he's got a full set of oil, and it's fresh. So guys, if you found this video helpful at all, please give us a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe. We've got tons of other videos. This is just one of our many videos of us working and building on our Skoolie Milesless Miles here. So we'd love it if you would subscribe and support the channel and just join along. Obviously we're earlier on, but you can tell we're dedicated, we're committed, and we want to share some of our knowledge and experience with you guys, which I think is really the most important part here. We just want to document this and kind of share our journey and a little bit of things we maybe know a little bit about, maybe know a lot about, maybe don't know very much about. But either way, we're here sharing it with you. So we love that you're here. Say hi to us in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you are able to save yourself a little bit of money by doing something so simple as changing your oil on your Skoolie and saving those dollars for the next adventure. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one, guys.